Hi there, welcome back to Just Making It. Today I'm in Albion, Pennsylvania, getting ready to do a preview on an auction March 22nd at 11 a.m. Tri-State Auction Services is going to have the auction, and it's Francis and Karen Surovick are the owners of the equipment. In this preview, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to walk around with Francis, and he's going to tell me a little bit about the equipment, a little bit of history, and how he used it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the preview. Okay, I'm here with Francis and Karen Surovick, and they're the owners of all the equipment for March 22nd sale. And Francis and Karen are going to talk a little bit about the equipment that they have to offer.
I've been farming for 50 years. Took a long time to build things up to where they are now. I'm kind of sad to get rid of it, but I think it's a necessary thing, necessary life change that I need to make. My wife and I maybe will take a couple more bike trips across the country and whatever, but Dad bought the farm back in 1972, 71, 72, and he was getting out of farming. I picked up on it and made a run with it, and I'm pretty pleased how it turned out. No matter what anybody tells you about farming, there's no better life anywhere.
Nice.
This is my wife, Karen. She's been stuck with me for over 50 years. I don't know how she puts up with me, but she still does, so.
It's easy.
Francis, what are some special items that you got with this auction? It looks like you got a lot of good equipment, but there's some special things that you have here that collectors maybe might be interested in.
Well, I've got everything here I think is pretty special, but the one big one, I've got this 5488 International tractor, and when Ray Wiggers is my auctioneer, and he called me up one morning about 8 o'clock, he says, you know, I'd like you to go out and check the serial number on this tractor. And he says, I don't want you to get excited, but he says, I've got it written down as 501. He says, if it is a 1, he says, that'd be the first tractor that was built. So I come out and I looked at the serial number tag, and it does say 501, and I sent him a picture of the serial number. But up in the one corner, it should say 5488, which is the model. But instead of saying 5488, it says TX148. My tractor is the first prototype 5488 that was built. This is even before they were put into put into production. But so that makes it pretty exciting. It'll take an otherwise very depressing day and give it a little bit of excitement.
Big surprise. And he bought it secondhand, and nobody caught it. We didn't know till Ray caught it.
How many years have you had that tractor?
I've had this tractor for 26 years.
26 years.
And somebody put a comment on Facebook, how could you have something for 26 years and not know? Well, I don't hook the serial number up to a piece of equipment.
Right, you just want to get on it and use it. Yeah.
And I don't, well, and then I do have actually the first tractor that I ever bought, and it's an old 560 International gas tractor. I've had the engine rebuilt, I've had the torque amplifier rebuilt, and if I was to go in and hit the starter right now, I'd make about 2-3 revolutions and be running.
Nice.
I plowed with it, I disked with it, everything. That was my go-to tractor. Now it's my little tractor. But it's still a very dependable horse. 5488, it's about a 185 horse tractor. Set of duals on it. The inside tires, the regular drive tires, they've only got a couple years use on them. The last few years never really did a whole lot of work with it. I took and hooked it onto my big disc, and that's about all it would ever do. I've got enough tractors here, I don't need to overwork any one of them. now I'd have to go look at the doggone meter again. I really couldn't tell you. But it's been a good, dependable horse. Never been stuck, at least as long as I've owned it. I don't know, what can a guy say about a tractor? I've never had it hooked on to anything that it felt that it was overworked. As far as I know, all the mechanical stuff is fine. But
so did you do a lot of plowing with it?
Never really. No, I never really. No, I did pull the chisel plows a little bit with it, but I've gotten away from that. I do more no-till than anything else.
Okay.
I got a big disc that if I do get into some tillage work, mostly that's what I'll do, is just heavy disc. And that's what gets hooked onto this. And having enough tractors, I don't have to keep unhooking a tractor and hooking onto something else.
Have a tractor for every implement.
There you go. This gets hooked on that big disc, and until I'm done planting in the spring, that's where it sits.
There's a 540 and a
540 and 1,000 PTO both.
Yep. Okay.
And I only used the power takeoff one time. When my other tractor needed some service, I took and pulled the hay bind with it. But that's the only time I ever used the power takeoff.
Yeah.
It was a tillage tractor.
Nice. What's the item number on that? Does he got a number?
Yeah, that's the.
That's the item number right there, 91. For the 5488.
I got this truck, and it took me a while to convince myself to even buy it, because I never driven anything this big.
Yeah, that's a nice truck.
Well, I finally figured that, if I get to the point to where I can run this truck properly, that's another feather in my cap. And if the farming all goes to south, that's something else I can sell myself for. But
now, what did you haul in this? Basically grain?
yeah, I have hauled some gravel in it, but it just kept it really for grain. And I've hauled, I hauled some into Dad's dog food. Bed, once it's full, I'm weighing up to about 80,000. And the biggest load that they had weighed in at Dad's dog food when I took it in there was 785 bushels.
Wow. Is there a grain door in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll walk around it a little bit.
And
You can keep talking about it.
well, I had it painted one time. I had the cab painted.
Okay.
But, and I really haven't had any trouble with this truck. I mean, the biggest problem I had an air leak in the exhaust manifold, and put a new gasket there and covered that. But
okay, here's what the back end looks like. There's a grain door.
Yep.
So you can haul your grain, dump your grain. Nice.
If I would have this thing loaded up full and I get up onto 98 heading to Meadville with a load of corn, if you're on a level road, it isn't working a bit. I mean, it just it pulls it right along.
What size motor's in it? Do you know?
Oh Lord, I couldn't tell you.
Okay. And does it have the lock for the rear end?
Diff lock?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's got a diff lock.
Nice.
Yeah, and I almost got into trouble one year when I was out combining. We had just about, I don't know, about 4 inches of snow on the ground. I backed off the road, and the driveway going in was kind of an incline coming down from the road, and filled up the truck, got in it, went to pull ahead, and all it did was spin the tires. And I engaged the diff lock, but it didn't make any difference. I mean, it just was not going to climb up out of there in the snow, and I didn't have anybody there to help me. And finally, I got to thinking, well, if I take and throw some of that corn down the wheel tracks, maybe I can get out. Well, that got me out and carried me from backing down in there till the snow was gone.
Can you tell us like what kind of transmission, like how many gears?
Oh,
Is it a split?
I can't tell you nothing about any of this. I keep forgetting everything I ever knew. Let me see here. I think it's 10-speed transmission.
Okay.
If that memory serves me correct. I've been shifting it so long, the thing is missing off of or it's worn off of your gear shift number, so I can't even tell you what that is. But it's got a high-low range, got a creeper gear.
Okay. It's lot number 138. 138.
L9000.
Nice.
This was a feather in my cap. You know, back in 2009 when they had a miserable drought out west, my wife and I took a motorcycle trip out to Missouri, and on the way out I saw some of the most horrible crops that I'd ever seen in my entire life. I saw farm ponds that did not even have mud in the bottom of them anymore. They dried up. And grain prices were going up like crazy. Come back home, and this is like the garden spot of the whole country. I had the most beautiful crops I ever had in my life that year, and it was just load after load after load. And finally, it was like, you know, I need to buy something or I'm going to get killed come tax time. And I'd always thought it'd be really cool if I could ever buy a new tractor. Well, yeah, it was really cool.
That is a nice tractor.
And when I bought it, I told the salesman, I says, I don't need a loader. I've been farming for all these years, haven't had a loader. So he calls me up one day. He says, I got this Maxim 125, and the only problem is it's got a loader on it. So I says, well, what's it worth to take that loader off? And he says, well, probably not what it's worth. And we never even got into numbers. You know, I had enough money. It was like, yeah, fine, leave on then.
You probably use the loader a lot.
Oh, Lord, you know, you have a loader for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't live without them after that.
You need a loader. You need a loader. And this is the perfect size tractor. It's a 125 Maxim.
It's a 125 horse tractor. Terrific unit. I put duals on it. I pull a 6-row corn planter with it, and it wants to know when I'm going to start working it. I mean, it doesn't even know it's working when I've got that planter behind it.
It's got 3 sets of outlets in the back.
Yep.
Okay. And what kind of PTO does it have on it? Is that a 540?
Yeah, it's just a 540.
Okay.
It don't have the 1000. But it was all set up for John Deere corn planter. That was part of the deal I made with the dealer. He had to get it set up for me, but it's, you know, heat, air in the cab, you know, and it got to the point that I really like having heat in the cab in the wintertime.
Yeah. Do you know how many hours are on it?
About 1,600, I think.
Okay.
Now, it's never been overworked. The nice part about having a lot of tractors, you don't need to overwork any of them.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for a tractor around this size. If you go too big, you know, it's just too hard on fuel. These are perfect for like doing hay.
Yep.
You know, and this is item number, it's got 100 on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and this really does not use a lot of fuel, especially at least when I'm pulling the corn planter. You know, I can go out and I'll be planting corn all day. If I start with a full tank of fuel, the fuel gauge hardly even comes down off of full.
There you go, folks. You could get 4-wheel drive, loader, air conditioning. It's all right here. Perfect size tractor for anybody. Let's see what it goes for.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, it's 5.6 International gas tractor, 6-cylinder. Bought this right out of high school. This is my first tractor ever. Used to carry around a 2-row mounted corn picker with it and pick corn with it. Don't do that anymore. Don't do ear corn anymore. But
Looks like you got pretty good tread in the back.
well, those tires I just had them put on about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I used to have a set of rice and canes on there, and they got pretty well worn down running up and down the roads. So I got a new set of tires for it and put the rice and canes on the duals
Okay.
that I had for it.
Now the hitch in the back, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, the hitch in the back, it's a fast hitch. Now, there is a problem with the hydraulic valve because it will drift down. So I've actually got cylinder stops in there to keep the hitch up in the air.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fast hitch system where you can just back into a piece of equipment, pick it up and go. You don't even have to get off the tractor.
Okay, now I can't see it, but is that a 1000?
No, that's a 540 PTO.
540.
Yeah.
Okay, 540.
Yep. But I've had this tractor completely rebuilt. I don't know. It's been a few years ago, but it probably don't have 500 hours on a rebuild, and that's just a guess on my part. But it really doesn't do a whole lot of work anymore.
Yeah, what kind of work did you do with this tractor?
This tractor, I've got a Hardy sprayer that I've got calibrated to this tractor. So that's the most work it does. Otherwise, it'll be pulling hay wagons around, just small stuff like that. It doesn't get overworked at all at this point anymore.
Very nice.
It's been a good horse. I was pretty proud of it when I first bought it.
Yeah, there you go. It's a workhorse. We all know these older Internationals are well built.
Yep.
You know. Now that is a gas.
Yep, it is a gas tractor. Yep. But it'll take right off you hit the starter.
Okay, now beside Francis here, he's got this nice New Holland combine. It's a TR98.
TR98.
Twin rotor.
Yep.
What can you tell us about this combine?
This combine spoiled me. I know a lot of guys like to run green, but I found that you can get just as good a used New Holland for a lot less money than you'll pay for a John Deere. If I take it out and I'm picking corn in the fall, I'm going to use about a gallon and a half of diesel fuel to the acre.
Okay.
Grain comes clean. Engine in 500 acres, I might end up putting 2 quarts of oil in it.
Okay.
During the season. Nothing major that I can think needs to be done to it. Tires on the back, they were new 2 years ago.
Now, Francis, is that 4-wheel drive?
It's 4-wheel drive.
That's 4-wheel drive, folks. That's nice to have. The tires are pretty big in the back.
Well, they were new tires, and it's kind of interesting because I come out here one time, I was going to get started, and one of the back tires was flat. Well, I tried to pump it up and it wouldn't hold air. So I took it off, took it to tire guys, and they thought they had it fixed. So then I go out in the field and the other one goes flat. So I took it to the tire guys and they thought they had that fixed.
Yeah.
Well, then the next year, same thing. I was out combining and one went flat in the field, and I told them at that point, I said, I need 2 new tires. I said, I can't play around like this anymore. So they had the one got the one tire in for me right away. Ordered the other one. I called him up one day. I says I was going out to the field and I got halfway up the road. The other tire went flat. Did you get my other tire in? Got it just about an hour ago. I said, you'll be seeing me in about an hour.
Yeah.
But the hydraulics are electric over hydraulic.
Okay.
They all work pretty good. It's got a 25-foot grain table with it, an 8-row corn head. And, you know, I've been zinging down through cornfields 4, 5, 6 miles an hour, and man, grain just comes pouring through, and it comes through nice. There's not a lot of junk and stuff, you know. As long as you got them adjusted upright, you won't have any trouble with that.
Now the corn head, and did you say you had a grain head to go with this?
25-foot grain table.
Okay, is that going to be sold separate at the auction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe too that the grain cart.
Both heads are on a grain cart.
Okay.
Again, it's kind of like having a lot of tractors. If you got 2 grain carts, you don't have to keep monkeying around.
Right. Yeah, like me, I leave my corn head on my combine, and then I just switch it out with my grain head.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Well, and before I got the second header cart, you know, I would take and set the one head on the ground and put the other one on the grain cart, and that's more monkeying around. Whereas if you got a grain cart for each of them, then
right.
away you go.
Okay.
But been a terrific machine. I've had it for 16, 17 years, I think.
Wow.
If it's 20 degrees and it's sitting outside and you don't have it plugged in,
Gotta use that ether?
it will start. You will not need ether. It'll start.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. It'll be a little bit rough till it gets going, but I've had...
Yeah, my International, I gotta give it the ether.
Yeah, there's no ether injector in there at all.
Okay.
And I've got farms, had a couple of farms that I was renting that are 5 miles away from here. So, and there's no place to hook up the electric, so you can't plug it in. And it 20 degrees out, you know, it might take a little work, but it'll get started and it'll get going.
Okay.
This was the first diesel tractor I ever bought. I got tired of working out in freezing temperatures and wearing a snowsuit for a cab. So I bought this from a farmer down in Zeleenople. It's been a good horse. I've had a couple of issues with it. Sent it out and had it fixed. Other than that, it does what I ask it to do. I pull a grade drill around with it every spring. When I bought a set of 5-bottom moldboard plows with it.
Okay.
Don't pull them anymore. They're just so much scrap. They'll be somebody's Volkswagen someday. But the tractor is still a terrific unit. I had a complete rebuild done on it about 8-10 years ago. It had a busted ring. When I was finishing up, I saw it was blowing oil, and I sent it out, and they did a piston sleeve rebuild on the whole thing, and I might end up adding a quart of oil into it at some point during the spring. At one point I was planting about 250 acres of soybeans with it. And yeah, at that point, yeah, I might end up putting a quart of oil in it somewhere along the way. Other than that, it does not use any oil. I never really checked the fuel consumption, but it wasn't unreasonable.
Okay, it's a 986, and you got 2 sets of hydraulics. And
Yeah,
this
it's
has
got 1,500 or 540 RPM.
Yep. Nice.
Yep.
How many horsepower is this, you think?
About 125, I think.
125, okay. I have a 1486.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, 145, isn't it? Right around there?
It could be, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, nice tractor, folks. This is a workhorse. These tractors are well built.
It's
Item 105.
something I try to do because sometimes you don't want to remember stuff.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's got a new rebuilt fuel pump. Put that on about 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It started leaking.
Okay.
Other than that, you know, change the oil, grease her up, and
Very
buy
nice.
good fuel, you're good to go.
Very nice. Okay, behind this international tractor, look at what we got here.
570 New Holland hay baler.
I could use one of those.
You're more than welcome to come and put an offer.
Yeah. I tell you what, this is I have a 310.
Uh-huh.
And it's very low capacity, but look at the hay that you can shove in this thing.
After I bought this, neighbor of mine came by and we were talking. He says, I could have swore I saw an advertisement that showed 2 bales in the air.
Uh-huh.
So I had this one field that is kind of a triangle, and I took up at the point, I really raked her up good and thick. I mean, I had a big windrow, and I went roaring into that, and I'm watching the first bale go out. Before it hit the wagon, I heard the thrower kick a second one out.
Really? Yeah.
So you can have 2 bales in the air at the same time.
I tell you what, I could use a baler like this. They are workhorses. How many bales of twine can you fit in
6.
here? 6 bales of twine.
And this baler has never seen rain.
Okay, good.
Comes home every night, goes inside.
Mm-hmm.
Ray asked me about pressure washing, and I told him, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think I read in the book that you don't even want to pressure wash them. So I said, no, we're not going to wash it. I says, I'll get her blowed off as good as we can, and that'll be that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has never seen water.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a knotter break on me a couple years ago, so that's been replaced. But
Okay.
I've since baled hay with it. It works perfect.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Now it looks like you have an applicator on top of this.
Yep, propionic acid.
Okay.
I used to have a little bit of trouble with dusty hay, and most of my hay goes to hay customers, and I had some horse people buying hay from me, and they complained about some dust in there, and so I started putting acid on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get horse people come by and say, yours is the only hay that they eat every bit.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. But I never once had a problem paying for the acid. You know, it adds almost a dime to every bale of hay you put out there, but I felt it was worth it.
Everybody can use a good square baler.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And this baler, it has the applicator and the kicker in the back. So there you go. You're all set up.
And I had typically put up about 4,000 bales every year by myself.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
very nice.
yeah, terrific unit. I actually traded a John Deere 24T for this baler.
Gotcha.
And I really wanted to buy a John Deere.
Mm-hmm.
But the price for the New Holland was so much less. Mm-hmm. And I tell these guys, just sharpen your pencil. If you can, you don't have to beat them. Just close this gap up a little bit. Nah, there's not a lot in there. And so I'm sorry, I'm going with New Holland, and I really don't regret it.
Very nice. I look at too, like where you can get parts.
Yeah.
Where can you get service?
That's a big consideration. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right.
And no, it was a terrific unit, and like I said, I really wanted to go with John Deere, but I just like the Maxim. When I bought the Maxim 125, I priced John Deere tractors at 2 different dealers, and green paint would have cost me an extra $10,000 for the same tractor.
Isn't that something?
I don't need to pay for somebody's paint.
Right. Okay. How many cc's is this?
It's 900.
900.
It's far as the factory is concerned, it's 900. Now the guy I bought it from told me it was bored out, so it could be 1,000. I have absolutely no idea. I won't swear to that. I would never tell a man it's 1,000 cc and expect him to be paying for 1,000. But yeah, it was a fun bike. It has not been running for years. Gotcha. But I don't think it'd take a whole lot to get it going again. I just don't feel like monkeying with it.
What year is this?
This is 1986.
86.
Technically an antique. You know, you can put it on your shelf and just look at it.
There you go. I like the mag spokes. Not a lot of maintenance.
No, very little.
Yeah.
I suppose the only complaint that I ever had about this bike was after I got the Fat Boy, it had a windshield on it.
Oh yeah?
And I was not used to riding a bike with a windshield, but I got used to it, and I got on this, and I'm going down the road without the windshield, and it felt like the doggone wind was trying to peel me off the bike. Okay, this is a 6-ring, 24-foot Brock bin. It's got a Brock burner and fan on it. It's a drying bin, 2 down augers. I bought this bin used. And it's actually the first grain bin that I had. Other than that, I used to actually store dry shell corn in an old concrete stave silo. But the original burner with it went bad, and I ended up putting a new Brock unit on there. It's quite a treat to use a drying bin as opposed to trying to dry your grain with a batch dryer.
I see.
The only big thing about it is you got to get used to waking up in the middle of the night, come out and check it.
right. Now, is this your newest bin, or?
No, this is the first bin that I ever got. I bought this at an auction.
Okay.
So now I'm going to sell it at an auction.
Right. Now, does it have a stirrer?
It's got stirrers inside.
Okay.
We can look in there and.
How many bins do you have here for that are going
4.
up? 4. Okay.
Yep.
4 bins. We're going to take a peek inside here.
And actually, when I put up this bin, of course, I'm just starting out and I didn't have a lot of money. So I actually dug the whole foundation for this bin by hand.
Really? Oh. Now, did you, Ray's crew put this up?
I'm sorry?
Ray Wiggers?
Nope. Bought it at an auction. Fred and I tore it down. Fred and I put it back up.
Nice. That's a lot of nuts and bolts.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, anybody that has not had any kind of experience with one of these, before you even think about putting one up, you want to buy yourself an electric impact wrench.
Gotcha.
You do not want to use an air compressor because you're always waiting for the air to pump up.
Right.
Electric, man.
It's the way to go.
Yepper.
Okay, very nice. That bin's in real good shape. Okay, over here we've got another bin.
This is just a storage bin. There's no storing equipment in it.
Okay, just a storage bin.
It's got a fan on it because you need to get air to your stuff. This is a 24-foot Brock with a 7-ring bin.
7-ring, okay.
It's got the drying floor in it, spinner up on top.
Okay.
Again, like I said, there's no stirring equipment. This one's got. The last bin we looked at does not have an outer well, and it's probably one of the problems with that bin, because when the corn gets coned down, you got to figure out how to get in the bin to get the corn down to open the door up.
Gotcha.
This has got an outer well on it.
Okay. Now, how many bushels can you put?
These bins, these 24-foot bins, every ring is about 1,000 bushels.
Okay.
This one I did actually buy new. It was kind of a treat to put one up without taking one down first.
Okay, it's that Brock right straight ahead?
That one I bought new.
Okay.
Didn't have to take one down before I put it up.
Now, Francis, from what I understand with these bins, the price of steel's going to rise. We all know it's going to go up.
Ray has told me he's already gotten notification from Brock and another company that there are price increases already.
Yes, so if anybody's interested in a bin, now's the time to get one.
Yep. And this is This is just like the other drying bin. The nice part about this one is it's got 2 outer wells.
Gotcha.
So once you open up the outer wells and get the drain down in there, you can step in.
There.
Not easy, but it makes it easier.
Now, Francis, what would, you know, like a lot of, if you have a bin, a lot of people have a dryer.
So it's got a fan and a burner out there.
Gotcha.
That will shoot your hot air down underneath the floor, and that'll push it up to the corn. And that's what the stirrers are for. They're constantly stirring up your corn and getting it to dry down.
Okay, very good. Let's see here. Let's go look. I'm going to show them the back here. And this is a 6-ring.
This is a 24-foot Brock 6-ring bin also.
Gotcha. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so this is the dryer.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know too much about bins.
Okay, it's what you've got with the dryers. You've got a burner here that'll end up giving you a flame about this big around. And this is an on-off dryer.
Okay.
They've also got them so that they're high flame, low flame. But this will run a fire until it gets up to where you got your floor temperature set. And for soybeans, you want it set at 90, 95 degrees. Corn, you can set it up to 140.
Okay.
So when it reaches that temperature, it'll shut the fire off.
Okay.
And when it cools down a little bit, it'll kick the fire back on. And so you got the fan back here pushing your fire through the transition and plenum underneath the floor. And these are run with liquid propane.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's a vaporizer in there that'll turn the liquid to gas before it gets to the burner. And when it's time for that to come on, it's on right now.
Very nice. Nice bin. Okay, so did we do this one?
Nope, this is a 21-foot balin bin.
Okay.
I've got a fan on it. It did have stirring equipment in originally. I bought this at an auction.
Okay.
But I didn't need to dry anything in it. I just needed to store stuff.
Gotcha. This is somewhat what I need.
This
Because
would
I sort of leave my crops in the field as long as I can and try to dry it the natural way.
sure.
So if your corn's like down to 16%,
Yeah, you can
you
put
be
it right in
okay?
the bin and then just keep blowing the air to it and
all right.
but it's got motors and the whole frame and everything for a stirring system. But again, I never needed that because this is just a storage bin for me. So all I needed to do was get it in here and have a fan on there where I can cool it down and run it back out into a truck and get paid for it.
All right, there you go. Okay, so that is it for the bins, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, unless you want to count my old stave silo, that was where I first stored corn.
Oh, is that for sale?
No.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go down this line. It's a bunch of tires and there's some smaller stuff, but it's mainly tires. We're going to go down the line here and I'm going to tell you what sizes he's got.
Yeah, these are all the duals that come off of the tractors.
The duals, okay.
Yep.
These are 14.9 28s. Okay, then he's got a nice forks here for a loader with that kind of hookup right there.
These will actually go on that international loader.
Gotcha. Okay, if you buy that tractor,
Yep.
you got the
You're
forks.
gonna want the forks.
Yep. Okay, here we got 460 85 R38s.
These were the duals that were on the Maxim 125, and you can see there's not a lot of wear on the tires.
No, those are in good shape.
I put brand new tires on when I set up the duals.
Gotcha, very nice. Okay, the next set here, we've got 18.4 by 38s. And what those come off of?
These were the duals that were on the 986.
986.
Yep.
So if you buy that tractor, you got to buy those duals. Looks like he's got a nice chain here. What is that, about 20 feet?
24.
24 feet.
Yep, half-inch lengths.
Okay, we got a, this is actually, I could use this. This is a spout for a gravity wagon.
I'm thinking you just need to come over here and bid.
I'm going to be here. So yeah, I could use that.
I have no idea how I ended up with an extra chute on a gravity wagon. But
Right.
It is.
Okay, what do we got here, Francis?
These are 15 538 duals that I had on the 560 International.
Okay.
I got the hubs with it and everything. You put them duals on that tractor, you never get her stuck.
Nice.
If you do, you've worked pretty hard to do it.
Right. And there's what the tread looks like.
These were an old pair of racing cane tires that came off of the tractor.
Gotcha. Okay, we got a set of tire chains here. And what size are these? Oh, there you go.
Yep, 16.9/28.
16.9/28.
And there's also a bucket of link chain and a tool to break the chain links. You will not cut those links unless you use a torch, but this tool
Gotcha.
will bust them links.
Okay.
So you got anything you need to make up a new set.
Very nice. Okay, then he's got a hose here.
Suction hose for a trash pump.
There you go. Okay. Next set of tires, we got, what do we got here, Francis?
Another set of duals, another set of 28s. They actually come off a little tractor that I had at home. I had a little Ford 3000.
Okay.
Used to put the duals on it when I was disking my garden at home.
Gotcha.
Got rid of the 3000. I got a Workmaster 45. I don't need the duals anymore.
Okay. And it looks like he's got more chain here.
Oh, yeah, 50-foot chain.
That's heavy duty chain right there.
Actually, it's 46 feet. But
46 feet.
I'll tell you what, I carry it around on the front of the tractor and hoping I never have to take it off.
There's some big mud holes out there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the problem with these combines, they make them float so well. If you ever do get them stuck,
Yeah.
you're probably stuck in an area you're not going to pull up.
Right. Okay, what do we got here, Francis?
Okay, we got a bunch of front end suitcase weights for International.
Okay.
And also 4 rear wheel weights for International.
Okay.
The rear wheel weights are actually weight for the bed of my two-wheel drive pickup for years.
Okay.
And then the hubs for the duals for the 986 here also.
There you go. Buy that tractor, you're all set up.
That's right.
And these are what, 100 pounds a piece?
Oh, they're way more than I ever want to pick up again.
Okay. Here's an auger.
This is a seed auger. It's
Seed auger.
got cup plating.
Okay.
Mount the tub onto the side of your gravity wagon.
Okay.
And buy your seed bulk, so you'll need those forks to dump that seed in your wagon.
Okay.
And
here's another thing I could use is a couple of these.
yep, I got the hoppers here for all the augers.
Okay.
Ray asked me one time, Ray Wiggers, the auctioneer, asked me one time, he says, how many augers do you have? I says, Ray, you should know, you sold them to me.
Yeah. Oh, what do we got back there, Francis?
Propane tanks. There's actually one propane tank that we're going to sell.
Okay.
2 of them belong to Ferrellgas.
Oh, okay.
But
Is it the big one here?
The 1,000-gallon tank here in the front. This is my tank.
Okay.
It's 70% full right now.
There you go, guys. It's 70% full, so you're saving that money. What's propane go for 2 something now?
Yep.
2 something a gallon. So there you go. 1,000-gallon tank.
All you got to do is figure out how to get it to your place and get an awful long hose.
Right. Okay, what do we got here, Francis?
Got a shorter clean sweep here.
Clean sweep.
This one doesn't have a motor, but when you have 2 sweeps, the motor just pulls right off of one and onto the other. It's for a 21-foot bin.
Gotcha. Okay.
But saves a lot of shoveling.
Now there's a nice tank. Look at that, folks.
That tank has only seen 1 full season.
Wow. And you can slide it around anywhere you want.
I had a 1,000-gallon tank that I'd used for years.
Uh-huh.
And
What's this, 500?
this is a 500-gallon tank.
500 gallon.
And the year before last, this damn 1,000-gallon tank sprung a leak. Now, I could have waited another year till somebody else bought the tank. So this tank here is only a couple of years old.
Nice.
So it's got a lot of life in it.
Gotcha. Okay, looks like we got some nice tires here.
Yep, these come off a disc that I basically scrapped out.
Gotcha.
Tires have been inside. Some of them were actually new tires that I put on the disc when I was rebuilding it. They've got rims. They've still got air in them.
Nice.
They're not flat, so.
Okay, how many we got here?
6 of them, and most of them are 5-hole rims.
Okay.
Some are 6-hole rims.
Okay.
Yeah, just get a flat tire. All you got to do is put another one on.
Okay, very nice. All right, now here's something that everybody could use.
Yeah, portable.
Porta potties.
There you go.
I could use one of those.
6 of them. No, they're not mine.
All right, they're not for sale. All right.
But
look at this, guys.
Yep, got a
Woo!
nice short auger for loading trucks.
That is a nice. How wide is that auger? Is that 10 inch?
I'm thinking it's 30 or 35 foot.
35 foot, but it looks wide.
10 horse motor,
Woo!
10 inch auger.
You just got done using this too.
I did too. If you'd have been here just a little bit sooner, you could have seen it running.
Wow, that is nice. And did this come from Wiggers?
It did.
Yes, it did. Look at that.
Originally, it was power takeoff driven.
Uh-huh.
But I would have to take and get tractor stuffed in this little shed over here in order to hook up the power takeoff shaft. I traded in a tractor, and the tractor that I got was a little bit too big, so I had to put a motor on it. It's got a 10-horse motor.
This thing, how old is it? It looks fairly new.
The auger itself is, I don't know, 8-10 years old, maybe.
That thing looks in good shape.
Yeah.
Did you always have it under a roof?
No, this one has actually been outside all the time.
Wow, nice.
The augers, it really has to stay outside because I was moving grain all year long. And so, it didn't make sense to load up a truck, put it inside, bring it out a day or two later, and load up another truck. So it's always sat outside.
Okay. And then, are these for sale here?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Got some nice railroad ties.
Oh, yeah.
Can't give you any history on them except the neighbor had them and didn't want them anymore and gave them to me.
I like to use these for like corner posts or gates. Gates.
I put up a high T fence here a few years ago for my son, and we got all treated posts. In fact, there's some over there that we're going to sell, but drove them all in. We used to use railroad ties, and railroad ties work nice for it.
Yeah,
but
you sort of need a backhoe to put them in.
That's the thing.
They don't pound very well.
I played too many years with idiot sticks digging holes, and I didn't enjoy that. And so our corners on all of our posts on the farm here, they're all 6-inch posts, and some were a little tough driving in, but railroad ties, I've used some of these ties for actually bridge spans. I've got a creek down back where at the headwaters of Little Elk Creek.
Okay.
And I've bridged the creek a couple of places where I need to get on the other side with a brush hog.
Nice.
So they do hold it.
Nice. Okay, what do we got? Is that for sale?
This old Gilmore Tage batch dryer is for sale.
Okay.
The electronics are pretty much fizzled. I had a little fire in it one time, and so I don't dry anything in it anymore.
Okay.
I will still run it if I've got an oat crop out there because it's got a screen in it, and it'll take all the fine weed seed and stuff out, and if you got a little bit of dampness in the oats, running a fan on it will take that little bit of moisture out of it.
Okay.
The loading hopper is, it's got a lot of rot to it, but again, I don't use it that much anymore.
Right.
I did dry a lot of corn in it before when I first bought it, but the drying bins pretty much spoiled me, and if you're thinking about running a batch dryer for 5-6 hours waiting for your corn to dry down. You know, I could be doing a lot of other things.
Right, right. Okay, then we got these fence posts here.
Yep, there's some treated posts.
Nice.
And these did not come from Tractor Supply. These supposedly have a longer life than Tractor Supply posts do.
Okay, maybe like the treatment.
It could be a different treatment. I
Gotcha.
have no idea, but when I talked to the salesman about them, he says they'll last a lot longer than the Tractor Supply posts will.
Gotcha.
I can't say whether they will or not. They haven't been in the ground long enough. If any of them ever rotted off at this point, I'd be really upset.
Gotcha. Okay, now is this tank for sale?
Yep, got another 1,000
Wow.
gallon tank. This one here is vapor draw.
Vapor draw, okay.
The other tanks down at the other end, they're liquid draw.
Okay.
But this is a vapor draw tank. We had it hooked up to the house for a while, and
Okay.
it hasn't been used in a number of years. It's still got a little bit of gas in it, but I know I burn it down to where it's way below 5%. So
Does it have any fuel in it?
it's probably got some in now. If I open up the valve, it'd probably be. We wouldn't want to have an open match.
Right. Now, here's something I'm really interested in. If I turn around here, this is a nice trailer. Look at that thing.
I'm thinking that my cousin and I were actually discussing this earlier, and
Yeah.
we thought that this would be really good down by this bait patch we're going to have for deer.
Wonder what this is going to go for.
I was thinking we'd wait till after the auction, and then we'll just take it down there, and Ray would come up and want to know where it's at. And, well, geez, Ray, I thought you already came and got it.
That's not for sale, folks. No. That's the auctioneer's trailer.
It's on an old New Holland running gear. I baled a lot of hay over the years. The barn's empty. It looks pretty sad now, but I would fill this barn up myself with small square bales, and this was my third wagon. I've got a couple of pipe wagons out on the line, but I wouldn't let Ray bring it out just yet because it's not treated lumber, and I just don't want to see a bunch of weather on it and ruin it before anybody has a chance to bid on it.
Looks like it's got a nice set of gears underneath it.
Yeah, it's good running gear under it.
Now, how many square bales do you think you could fit in there?
This one I can get about 110 in if I'm not stacking. When I'm working by myself, you know, I'm not stacking the bales, so I get about 110 in here.
Gotcha.
I would typically figure on about 400 or 500 bales a day for myself because I baled it all myself. And I didn't have help, so I'd have to bale it and then pull everything in here and unload everything and stack it in a mile.
Right. Okay, very nice. Okay, now we're going to get ready. We got the equipment out in the field here. We're just going to go right down the line. Francis is going to talk a little bit about each piece. Go ahead, Francis.
Got a bunch of wagons going on here. Got a gravity wagon here. Hauled a lot of grain in it. It's on a Corey 10-ton running gear, 10-ton running gear.
Okay.
Used to bring all my grain into the farm with gravity wagons, but until I got the dump truck, and then they pretty much just got stored inside.
Gotcha.
Used to, this is the one wagon that I would put the seed auger on so that you know, I could auger the seed into the grain drill.
Okay.
And up right here we've got a fertilizer spreader.
Okay.
Or not spreader,
Auger.
I'm sorry, fertilizer auger.
Yep. And will that go on that wagon? Is that what you use?
No, I actually use this on this big Kilbrose wagon down here because I get quite a bit of fertilizer at one time.
Okay.
Got an old snowmobile trailer.
Okay.
Can't tell you any history on that. Don't know if lights work or anything, but
gotcha. Okay. All right, what do you got here, Francis?
This post driver.
That's a shaver, isn't it?
Yep.
That's an 8-inch? I think that's an 8-inch.
You could be right.
Yeah.
But I used that when we built all new fences around the farm. Did a good job. I could think of if I was fencing for a living, maybe I'd do something, have something different. But I mean, for building my own fences,
there you go.
A lot easier than a sledgehammer.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, this is one of my other hay wagons.
Okay.
Dandy Lace wagon. This is on a running gear that you could actually go down the road when it's empty, 40 miles an hour, and it'll travel straight and true behind you.
Nice.
It doesn't go back and forth on the road.
That's what matters, how the tongue is.
Yep. Get 125, 130 bales in it if I'm not stacking. Don't know how many you get in if you were stacking.
Gotcha.
Because I don't stack them in a wagon.
Right. Very nice.
Another gravity wagon here.
Okay.
This is the first one that I ever bought. Bought this at an auction. This is on a J&M running gear.
Okay.
10-ton running gear.
Okay.
Not much else I guess you can say about it. Gravity wagons are what they are.
Yep.
This gravity wagon here is on a Kilbros 10-ton running gear.
That's a nice set of gears.
The box, I actually traded my old 2-row mounted corn picker for this gravity box. I think I got the better part of the deal.
Gotcha, yeah.
But
see, I use these gravity wagons for picking corn.
Well, and that's where I started, was picking corn.
Yep.
I got tired of shoveling the damn corn out of a flatbed wagon.
Right. Okay, look at this wagon, folks.
This one I bought just a few years ago.
KB 387, that's 387 bushel, right?
Something like that, yeah.
It's got the big extensions on it.
It's got a tarp for it.
Oh, it's got a tarp.
Yep.
And it's set up for an auger.
Yep, this is what I would use for my fertilizer wagon. I could fit 10 tons of fertilizer in it real easy. It's on a 12-ton running gear.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, here we got a fertilizer spreader.
Wilmar fertilizer spreader, bought that new. It's been well taken care of. I don't know, I've had it over 15 years. When I get done spreading for the day, no matter what I got going on, the first thing that happens is the pressure washer comes out.
Right. And I tell you what, Francis, this is one of the cleanest ones I've seen at all these sales.
Is that right?
This is clean.
Well, I know what fertilizer will do to anything. Now it is stainless steel.
Okay.
But it does have other steel parts, and you know, you leave that fertilizer dust or anything on there, you know, it's going to eat out of it.
Right.
But
now this is about what, a 5-ton?
4.
4-ton.
Yeah. Never did anything to it except grease it.
Gotcha. All right, so that's a Wilmar Super 500 narrow track.
I had a bull that broke my doggone SMV sign.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that thing's in good shape, folks. Right there. If you're looking for a nice spreader. All right, here we got a packer.
Yep.
Now let me guess, is that John Deere?
I think it's Oliver, really.
Oliver, okay.
I won't swear to it, but I think that's what it is. I thought I saw at one point it was on there, but this sits outside all the time. I don't have a problem with that.
And how wide is that, you think?
10 foot probably.
10 foot,
yeah.
Nice. Everybody can use a nice little packer. Okay, here we got an elevator of some sorts. What do we got here?
This is a case elevator.
Okay.
This is one of the only pieces that my dad had that I still had.
Okay.
He bought this thing, and it originally came with a Wisconsin engine on it.
Okay.
And when we were putting hay up in the barn, we always had a 5-gallon bucket of water sitting next to it, just in case. But doggone gas engines, you know, when they're hot, they don't like to start so well. And I had this electric motor at home for years, and finally I thought, well, I bet you I can put that electric motor on there. Well, and it works fine.
I've never seen one that have a wide platform with small flaps like that.
The reason being is you can close this up for grain. It'll fold up.
Oh, it'll fold up. Okay.
It'll fold up to a 45 for ear corn.
Gotcha.
Or you can close the sides up completely for oats or
Isn't that
wheat.
something?
Yeah.
I've never seen one like that.
The only thing that it doesn't have is the original auger for that.
Oh man.
Or hopper rather. I'm sorry.
That's nice.
This is the longest this elevator has been outside in my lifetime.
Gotcha. Yeah, something like this you need to put it inside.
But it probably, since I started doing all the farming myself 50 years ago, those tires have probably gotten maybe 100 feet of wear on them.
Okay. All right, it looks like we got another nice kicker wagon here.
Another wagon on a New Holland gear.
And look at that, folks. It looks like the floor is pretty much new.
Yep.
Treated.
Well, the floor on both of these pipe wagons I'd rebuilt them. This one, for a couple of winters before I built the pole barn back there, this one actually I had to store outside, so I put a treated deck on it, and I would still cover it with a tarp. But since I built the pole barn back there, I had enough room to put everything inside. So
very nice.
even the wagons go in.
This looks like it's an 18-footer.
I think 20.
It's 20.
Yeah.
That does look like it's 20. That's a long one.
Yeah. But that New Holland baler will throw them bales right over the back if you make it.
Isn't that something? Yeah. Nice. All right, here we got a hay rake.
Yeah, an old roller bar hay rake.
Okay.
I don't know what you can say about a rake.
Is this an international?
No, this is a New Holland.
New Holland.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. It's always been a good rake. It'll rake hay.
Yep.
Can't compare it with the new rakes because they're all totally different. But
I'm going to always have a roller bar rake because we use a wheel rake, and then I follow it up and flip it one more time with a
is that
roller
right?
bar. Yep, yep.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, look at this, folks. We have a Kuhn
9-foot disc bind.
FC 283TG, and it's got the swivel hitch.
Yeah, it's a 3-point hitch. It's the second disc bind that I've had, and it's the second one that was 3-point hitch.
Okay.
The first one, I was hesitant about getting a 3-point hitch disc bind because I thought, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to hook up.
Right.
But boy, I'll tell you what, when you can turn around and actually be turning so sharp that you're running a tractor back towards the cutter bar and there's no chattering or anything like that.
Look at that, folks. It's got that, you call that flail?
Yeah, it's got the fingers on it. Doesn't have the crimping rolls.
Right. And how wide is this? About 10 feet?
9 foot.
9 foot. Okay.
Yep.
9 foot wide. Very nice. And Kuhn, I know John Deere followed Kuhn as far as their turtles and all that goes.
Is that right?
In the past. I don't know how they're doing it today, but I know that the two are very similar.
Well, what I really found interesting when I bought my first one, the knives, of course, are only about 4 or 5 inches long.
Right.
So I asked, it was actually Ray's dad that I bought my first one from. And I says to him, I says, what about your ground speed? What are you looking for at ground speed? He says, if you can stay in the seat, you can cut hay.
Yes.
And
yeah,
that's
hold on to the
exactly-
steering wheel.
Yepper.
All right, what do we got here, Francis?
This is my Hardy sprayer.
Okay.
300-gallon tank, 45-foot booms.
Okay.
There's no foam markers or anything on it, but it's a good sprayer. I use this to spray all my corn.
Okay. Is that a new pump on there?
The pump I put on here 2 years ago.
Okay.
The tank I put on here 3 years ago.
Okay.
So
there you go.
they're going to be around for a while.
Right. And there's not a lot of electronics and stuff that you deal with.
Yeah, it's all screens. It's manually adjustable valves and stuff. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you've got it calibrated with your tractor, you can go right along. And I would typically spray 250 acres of corn every year with it at least once.
Nice.
And sometimes if I had a little bit of a weed flush later on, I'd get it a second time.
Okay, look here, folks. Everybody can use one of these.
This is a Ford hay tedder.
Okay.
Had a flat tire on it once, had to put a new tire on.
Okay.
But does a terrific job. I don't think you can really bale hay without having to ted at least once or twice.
Right. Tedders are always nice to have.
They are. And the back ones, they swing right out, so I can take 2 swaths of that 9 foot hay bind and get them at the same time.
Right. All right, what do we got here?
Got my
That's a heavy set.
yep.
How wide is that?
Is this 16 or is it 20?
Okay.
I'm forgetting anymore. But,
Yeah.
It's wide enough, but I've replaced every disc blade on this thing at least one time.
Gotcha. Now what make is this?
This is a
Right there.
we'll look on the back. We'll see.
A Cross.
Kraus.
Kraus.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep. But yeah, I've replaced all the disc blades at one time or another. Some of the
That's a heavy duty hitch right there.
Anytime I'd be replacing disc blades, you might just as well replace the bearing at the same time.
Right.
Save you having to come back and replace the bearing.
Yep.
Does a terrific job. Just got to make sure you got it all adjusted up right.
Right. Okay, what do we got here?
This is a Brilliant 16-foot column mulcher.
Heavy set.
Yep.
Nice. Look at that. Did you plant a lot of hay?
I would typically seed back 10, 15 acres every year.
Okay.
Now
Look at that, folks. That thing's in good shape.
This is what I would use when I would do my tillage work, to get a good level seed bed.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That looks like it's 15?
16 foot,
16
I think.
foot.
Yeah.
Yep.
My biggest problem with it is if it's dry enough out there, you can't look back and see what's going on.
Okay. All right.
Okay, John Deere 1750 no-till corn planter. It's got the airbags for down pressure, no-till coulters. Hasn't been beat up. Every year when I get done with it, first thing I do is I'd spend a whole day just cleaning her up.
Mm-hmm. How much corn did you usually plant, Francis?
When I first bought the planter, I was planting about 250, 275 acres.
Okay.
And when I would clean it all up, I would spray down the disc blades and stuff so they don't get all rusty over the winter.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really had anything really out of the ordinary you would expect as far as trouble with it.
Gotcha. It's got the chains in the back.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, you might.
And that's a 30-inch, right?
Yeah, this is set up for 30-inch rows.
Okay.
When I first bought it, I had a problem with the marker. The one marker wouldn't go down, and the salesman kept telling me he thought it was hydraulics with the tractor. Well, finally we got a different technician out here, and he found out that there was a problem with the casting in the marker. So they ended up giving me a new marker. They ain't had a problem since.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, look at here. We got a John Deere manure spreader.
Yeah, 34 manure spreader. This thing,
34.
this was my dad's manure spreader.
Okay. I've never seen back beaters like that.
Well, that's because it was built a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've been farming for 50 years. Dad's had it way before then. It does still work.
This could actually be a collector's item.
I think so.
Yes,
I think it is.
I've never seen anything like this.
But yeah, it still works. When my son was alive, he had some cows, and we hauled a lot of shit with it back then.
Nice. Look at that. That's interesting.
And just like everything.
I wonder what year this is. It's got to be.
Did Dad buy it when we had this farm? I think he did. So it would have been early 70s.
Okay.
So yeah, this is
Very nice.
55 years old at least.
Yeah. All right, look at this, guys.
9-shank disc chisel.
Shank.
Used to do a lot of chisel plowing when I first bought it. Finally got to doing more no-till than anything else, but it does a good job.
That's a Glencoe, by the way.
Yep.
Glencoe.
Does a good job.
How many horsepower do you think it'd take for this?
I pulled it originally with a 986. It was a 125 horse tractor. I wouldn't want to pull with anything less.
Right. Okay, look at this.
Okay, crop care sprayer. 60-foot booms, 300-gallon tank. And this is all GPS controlled.
Oh, GPS.
Which is really cool.
Okay.
It's got automatic rate control.
Okay.
So if you get in a spot where your tractor starts spinning and slowing down, it'll slow down the rate. So
now, does this have like a Raven controller?
It's got it's TJet
TJet
equipment.
Okay.
But it's GPS controlled, so you've got a screen that shows where you've been, where you're going to go.
Wow.
Um,
How old is this?
this I bought probably 10 years ago.
Wow.
Uh,
How wide is that?
60-foot booms.
60 foot.
Yep. And it's really nice that it's GPS controlled. I struggled with what I wanted to have as far as equipment, and I called the salesman, and every time I called him, I kept upgrading.
Yeah.
So finally I said, I just want it all. And, if you go around the field, you get to the end of the field, it will shut off automatically. It'll turn back on automatically. If you got just part of a 60-foot swath, it'll turn on the ones that it needs. So that makes it really nice.
Nice.
Just keep track of what you got going on. And
Okay, what do we got here? We got another auger.
8-inch auger.
8-inch.
I gotta believe that these are 60-foot long.
Okay, PTO.
It's power takeoff driven. I don't know what you can say about an auger. They run grain from one end to the other.
Right, if you're looking for a nice auger. How many foot is that?
I think they're 60 foot.
60 foot, okay.
And if you see, I've got 3 augers here, besides the one at the bin.
Yep.
And a nice part about that is if you've got 3 of them, you're not wearing an auger out by just using one to do everything.
If one breaks down, you're ready to go.
But,
Now this is Hutchinson, right?
yep.
Hutchinson, PTO. All right, here's the third one.
This is the third one. This one I actually bought at an auction years ago.
Okay.
They're all operable. They all work good.
Really nice. Okay.
There we come to Great Plains no-till grain drill with center pivot hitch, 12-foot drill.
Very nice.
You guys got to quit plowing. Just go out there, hook onto this drill, drop it in the ground, and plant your soybeans.
And can you plant hay with this?
Yeah, it's got a cedar box on the back,
Okay.
so you can actually put grass seed in there if you're seeding down a field.
Okay. Very nice. This thing's in good
press
shape.
wheels. It's got the press wheels here in the back.
Oh, okay. I never seen wheels like that right there.
Yeah, seed firmers.
Seed firmers. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, these are the press wheels.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I got an excuse for screwing up a little bit. But this too, like the corn planter, when I get done with it, this baby gets all washed up real good.
Yes. Under a roof.
Grease, oil, chains oil, goes under a roof, and that's where it
Gotcha.
stays till needed again.
Very nice. That thing looks heavy duty.
It is. It is. I would pull it with a 986, and anybody who wants to pull it, you're going to need a set of duals on your tractor.
Yeah, so you're looking well over 100 horse to pull this.
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, and the 986, I'd handled it well.
Okay.
And actually, believe it or not, it's easier to pull in no-till than it is in conventional tillage.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You would think it would be harder because you're digging in.
Nope, you don't want to go deep with it. I made that mistake when I first bought it. I'd sink them doggone no-till coulters in as far as they go.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get a good stand. It took me a while to figure it out. You're cutting a slice 6 or 8 inches deep in the ground. You're going into the damp soil that does not close up. So that seed drops down 6 or 8 inches.
Wow.
So it's not coming up.
There's a little tip from Francis.
I looked at my corn planter. The no-till coulters on the corn planter are only going about 1 inch or 2 below the seed depth.
I see.
Keep your doggone no-till coulters up.
Because I've known some people that did some no-tilling and they wonder why their seed didn't come up.
There you go.
Yep, there you go.
And you go out there and you start digging for it, you got to go down 6 or 8 inches to find that stuff.
Right.
Okay, New Holland 8-row corn head for narrow corn, 30-inch rows. Get right on down through a field, get that crop off quick. It works really nice.
And this goes with that New Holland.
This goes with that
combine.
Yep, this goes with that tier 98.
Now the cart is separate.
The cart's separate. This header cart. I think it'll handle a 30-foot 30-foot head. I'm not really certain. I never really measured
How
it.
wide's this head again?
But this is 30-inch rows.
30-inch road.
So
Rows.
figure 8 30-inch rows, you know, it goes
Okay.
on this cart real well.
Wow. I tell you, you could do a lot of corn with this thing.
All right,
Jeez.
and you can do it quick.
Yes. All right.
I've taken and probably replaced every one of the gathering chains down through there.
It's in good shape.
I always keep a roll of roller chain around.
Mhm.
You can see there's no rust on it.
Yeah, you keep it inside.
No, actually this gets parked outside.
Does it?
But I paint it up with fluid film every fall.
There's the key right there.
Take
Another tip from Francis.
Taking our blower off real good with a leaf blower, and then I paint her up real good with fluid film, and
Yep.
got no rust.
Very nice. All right, what do we got here, Francis?
This is a 25-foot grain table that also goes to that TR98,
Okay.
and sitting on a header cart.
Okay.
Of course, the cart would be separate, but I have replaced the teeth in the cutter bar a couple of times.
Okay.
Does a nice job. Everything's set up so that it's all automatic. You hit the button, the combine sets it down,
Uh-huh.
you take off down the road
Very nice.
or down through the field, and you get an uneven ground. It tilts one way or the other by itself.
And how wide was this? 30 feet?
No, this is a 25-foot head.
25 foot.
Yep.
25-foot head. Very nice.
You know, actually Ray corrected me on that because for years I'd thought it was 35.
Right.
That's what I told everybody. I got a 35-foot head on that sucker. But I got to look at it, and he was saying it was 25, so I had to actually bring my tape out here, and son of a gun if I've been wrong for years.
Gotcha.
But I went out one year and just working by myself, I combined 40 acres of beans in one day with it.
Wow.
With that combine. And
Very nice. Yeah. So there you go, folks. You buy that combine, you gotta buy these two
gotta
heads.
buy these heads, and you're definitely gonna want to buy both header carts with them.
Exactly, because Ray will not separate them. You should buy
right.
them both.
Yep. And if you just buy the one header cart, you're going to end up being mad that you didn't buy them both because you got to start switching header carts all the time.
Right.
This will be like any typical auction. You know, you've got all kinds of little things that a guy brings out that he'd been collecting over the years, and you know, I'm no different. There's some stuff that I got that I picked up here and there and thought I would need, and still got it. Bunch of baler twine that obviously I bought way too much last year.
That's all 9,000 right
That's
there?
all 9,000
Okay.
twine.
Nice.
I used to buy 10,000 foot, but
Right.
I kept running into too much thin twine with a 10,000, so then I started buying 9,000, and I wasn't seeing that as much as I did with a 10.
Gotcha.
And just some more miscellaneous things. You know, I don't know, filters.
Yeah, I'll just pan through here, and people might see something they
What's
like.
really interesting is these weights down here to your left there.
Oh, what are those?
Those are actually weights in farmhouse windows.
No way, really?
Yeah, when you
Isn't
pull
that
up a window,
Yeah.
the weights are in the frame,
Okay.
so that's what keeps the window up.
I've never seen those. Isn't that something?
We
there's-
gutted the house here
Uh-huh.
and had it remodeled, and my son saved them. And then you got a couple old toolboxes there that
Okay.
were actually my dad's.
Okay.
What's interesting about this one here on the bottom, it's got this little square hole here.
Yeah.
It's for carpenter's squares, so the square can come up through there. And
Oh, okay.
you got the square in the toolbox, and then
Uh-huh.
it's extended up over top of it.
That's cool.
But
And then you got some miscellaneous nuts and bolts I see
nuts
there.
and bolts, yeah, all
Yep.
kinds of stuff.
And then I thought I seen you had some tools.
Yep,
wrenches
yeah,
and
that's back
stuff.
back in the other barn there.
Okay.
And all the tools are either SK or Craftsman.
Gotcha.
My dad's old rototiller.
There's a rototiller.
My son actually had it running a couple of years ago when he was still alive, and
Okay.
but little bit of work,
All right.
guy could get it running again.
There's some belts there too if anybody needs belts.
Yep,
That's a coal chute.
yeah.
Okay. There's a coal chute.
But
Okay.
A few
more
other
stuff.
small things in here. Got a small grain cleaner. Works good.
Okay.
Old Craftsman air compressor.
Okay. There's a compressor. It looks like you got some tires here.
Yep, those are. I got some new tires. Both of these are new, I think. Those two back there are also new.
Okay.
Uh,
There's a pressure washer.
Pressure washer there works.
2 tires. They look new.
Yep, got some fence posts sitting here and an old foundry wheelbarrow.
Wheelbarrow.
With a solid rubber tire. You'll never get a flat tire with that one. You need to buy
Oh,
that.
it's solid. There you go.
Some propionic acid.
Okay.
What else? Oh, the old
Oh,
platform.
there's the scale.
Old platform scales here.
There's a scale. If you need to weigh bags,
That's it, man.
there you go.
Or you need to take and put it in your store. It's probably a $1,000 scale there.
Wow. That is cool. All right.
I got a friend of mine that'll tell you they don't make them like that anymore.
No, They're digital now. Here's
Couple of water tubs.
water troughs here. Yep.
And of course, you got something here that everybody that comes to this auction needs.
What's that? Oh yeah, a pulse digger. Well, that was nice to walk around with the owner and actually get a feel of how he used the equipment and a little bit of history about it. So just remember, the auction is next week, March 22nd at 11 a.m. Tri-State Auction Services. It'll be live and online using proxy bid. Thanks again for watching Just Making It, and we'll see you next time.